I don't see Jason, but I guess GCast is him, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
And then I see two other people whose name does not show up.
We have Manuel, Lori, and Alex Gephardt.
It's so nice to see you, Manuel, because I know you follow my Facebook.
Yeah, I am a big follower. I always follow your status.
Thank you.
I think they're pretty insightful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, my expectations is just to keep listening, kind of like your discourse or what you have to say about um, the accelerationist manifesto and how it's translating into kind of like action.
Okay, now let me just like give. Should I start or should we wait, Jason, a little
I
bit?
mean, it's just now 3 o'clock, and the link was just posted a couple minutes ago.
Maybe we can just wait because I wanted to like give an overview of the all three sections and relate them to each other, and then talk about like just what Manuel brought up and how that is used throughout the class. And yeah, so basically that's what I want to do, but I don't want to do it and then do it again. So maybe we should wait a couple of more minutes. Maybe more people will join, so we'll do it then.
Maybe we could just spend some time just having people introduce one another. We can hear you, Lori. Are you there? Lori, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello?
Hey, Lori, we can hear you.
Okay. This is Lori Way, and I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm a doctoral student at Union Institute and University, and have a background in art history, but not so much in curatorial work, so looking to get some background in that.
Great. Maybe we can move to Radwan. Radwan, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
I think he's having difficulty with the signal. Maybe somebody else, and then we get back to him.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead, Manuel?
I'm from Cancun. I'm doing my master's at the European Graduate School. I'm expecting to finish. I'm working my dissertation right now. And I'm expecting to finish this August and then proceed to the PhD and GCAS and applying to other programs. I'm still researching programs, but I focus more like in philosophy, but I'm also interested in art and how philosophy merges with art and follows the discourse of philosophy and all that. I think that's pretty much. Yeah. Did I say that I'm from Cancun? Yeah, I'm from Cancun. So you're welcome to come to Cancun anytime.
Actually, my best friend Ignacio's brother and sister, they live in Cancun. Actually, yeah, they both live in Cancun, so we have some form of family in Cancun. I've never visited, but I'm always like, I'm always about to jump on the plane and go visit, and maybe that's why I haven't visited, because it's so easy. But yeah. If I'm in Cancun, I'll contact you.
Yeah, let me know for sure. I will take you to places non-touristy and stuff, like nice places. And touristy stuff too.
Yeah, touristy stuff is nice too.
Yeah. They're expensive, but.
So somebody else wants to introduce themselves?
Hey, I'm Alex. I am living in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I am enrolling at Kendall College next semester here in Grand Rapids, and have been working with GCAS as a registrar a bit on and off, and I'm interested in pursuing curatorial studies through GCAS because I'm interested in art and philosophy as well.
Lovely.
And by the way, we have 2 people who have told me that they're watching via YouTube right now, and at least 4 people who said they're going to watch the video later. So just so you know.
Okay, so maybe I should just start because more people joined already.
Yeah, sure.
So, to give you an introduction to myself, my name is Mohammed Salemi. I'm an independent curator based in New York and Vancouver. I began curating long before I got a degree in curatorial studies. I started a project-based gallery back in 2001 in Vancouver named Database. And we just began, I mean, I already had a bachelor in fine arts and about 10 years of practice in graphic design and web design and teaching internet technology at a college. But I decided to start a space, and basically from 2001 to 2008, I curated shows by Vancouver and Canadian and some international artists at that space, and then decided to actually pursue the academic degree and get my Masters of Curatorial Studies from UBC. Oh, Tom just joined us. Hey, Tom.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you
You
too.
switched your picture to your father's picture, right?
Yes.
Is that what it was? Yeah, I thought, okay, that must be your father.
Yeah,
So,
it is. So what's going on?
Why don't you introduce yourself, because everybody else has introduced themselves, and feel free to just. Tom will be joining us Thursday on the Thursday class to be a curator guest addressing some of the stuff that are planned for Thursday. That's in the first segment of the class. Tom's doing a PhD in Goldsmith, and it's a curatorial degree, right?
Yeah, it's in the fine art department, but it's I'm a curator there. It's kind of we do it all together. Yeah.
So I don't know. I asked you to introduce yourself, and then I did it sort of myself. Why don't
you didn't want to do yourself.
Why don't you do it yourself one more time, because I may have missed something.
Okay, no. I think you got everything. I'm ostensibly a curator, but I've become more of a writer, academic over the last couple of years, especially when working on the PhD. What else is there? So I'm based in London. Doing my PhD at Goldsmiths. The title is Abandon Hope, the Political Economy of Art in the Second Age of Oil. You can ask me about that maybe another time. But yeah, I'm ready. I think that's enough, really.
Yeah, so just to go back where I was, so when I did my degree, I decided consciously to not, because my proposal to go to the curatorial program at UBC was to work with Iranian artists, but I changed my plan for my thesis show and my thesis writing, and I sort of changed it to studying the transformation of the Museum of Nature and Man, but particularly the American Museum of Natural History, and how in the early 20th century they basically, without knowing, were entangled in cybernetic concepts of information and interface and archives as database and all sorts of that. And this is, mind you, it's 2009 when I started this, so these topics were way more sort of like unknown and explored. People didn't even use the word digital humanity. And basically what I wanted to show was that particular habitat diorama displays at the museums are precursors to interactive digital environments, both in method, concept, and even like some of the material. So that's what my thesis show ended up being. And then since then, I've kind of like returned to work with Iranian artists a little bit, but I got a more of a universal interest in how digital technologies or network technologies or whatever you want to call it is reshaping how we think of subjectivity, knowledge production, artistic practice,
Still a long way to go.
capitalism, and all of these categories. So that's sort of like my longer research interest these days. And I'm basically doing a residency, which is sort of like a full-time curator in residence at Access Gallery in Vancouver, which is about to end soon. And throughout which I proposed 3 projects. First project was an exhibition called Encyclonospace Iranica that was an invitation from me to 9 young emerging Iranian artists to use Reza Negarestani's concept of pan-computation and telecomputation and sort of like respond to that with artwork, which actually included a couple of diagrams that Reza had made himself at a gallery talk. The second part of the project was a conference organized in Vancouver in March called the Incredible Machines, which included Reza as one of the keynotes and a few other people, Sohail Malik and Alexander Galloway, and a lot of people also either came to Vancouver or participated in a conference via Google Hangout with the help of Jason and GCAS. Because GCAS was one of the sponsors of the conference, and Jason sort of like behind the scene kind of make sure that it all glued together and linked together. And then the third part of my project, which we completed, is I'm curating a Google extension which will alter the experience of searching the internet and researching stuff online. So it's basically sort of like rather than building a website, me and an interface designer and a programmer are working on a Google extension, a Chrome extension basically, that you will download from the App Store and then you add it to your browser. But it links to some form of database and it alters your experience of the internet. Particularly if you're researching a list of 100 Iranian knowledge producers that I've sort of like connected to, and they're all helping to build content into the extension. So that's what I'm working on, but I'm also working on a conference and a series of online talks this summer and fall with Sohail Malik and Joshua Johnson called Fixing the Future, which will deal with the question of how we conceive the future and how we offer an alternative to the future that global capital is kind of like desiring and fixing for us. So those are the things that I'm doing and I'm interested in. I'm also kind of like propose these courses and basically helping GCAS sort of like organize their Art Institute of the Arts program, because I'm the chair apparently. So yeah, so those are the stuff that I'm doing, and that's the stuff. Now about the class, the way I've organized it is sort of like past, present, future, in a way that the first segment of the class, which will start Wednesday, will deal with history of curatorial practice and sort of like the shows that have informed its present. So basically, I have a list of about 16 shows. With some of them, because they're more important, we're going to get deeper into them. With some of them, just basic information, as so the students would know the name of these shows, and then hopefully can go and do some research on their own in terms of finding out who are the curators and what were the concepts behind the shows and all that. So that's one element, the first segment. I'm just opening the file because I wanted to give you a list of the shows, hopefully, so you can sort of like see what we're doing. I've divided up to 4 segments. The first segment deals with sort of like the emergence of what we call modern art in Europe and in America, beginning with the Armory Show, the first International Data Fair, the second spring exhibition of Ombakua, which is basically the famous constructivist show in Moscow, and then the Cubism and Abstract Art at MoMA, and then the famous Degenerate Art exhibition, and the first Surrealist exhibition in Galerie Beaux-Arts in Paris, 1938. So that would form the sort of like the emergent section. Then there's a section called Information, which deals with 3 very important shows. This is Tomorrow, and Primary Structures, and MoMA's own information show. And then the show called when attitude becomes form. And then we'll go over the sort of like the penetration of the curatorial practice and museums with post-colonial and feminist theories, which is basically sort of like late 80s, early 90s. And then at the end, we will deal with some of the shows that are sort of like set the stage for the last 10 years. And these shows are like Traffic, the Do It series, and yeah, Insight. So these are the shows mostly that we're going to be dealing with. There's quite a lot of them, but as I said, we're going to try to focus on the most important ones and then leave the rest to students to pick up for the final project. And then in the second part, and I'm not going to like get so much into detail about that one, because I think we should do information sessions about those two segments later on. In the second segment, what I like to do is I like to pick some of the current sort of like celebrity, international, world curators and sort of like compare their words about what curatorial practice is to what they actually have curated. So we'll be reading their text and looking at their shows and kind of examining how they stand up to each other. So that will be the second part. And then the third part mostly will be about ways in which we can get the curatorial practice out of its sort of like contemporary, indeterminate contemporary mode, which just seems to be like a hamster on a wheel and just nothing else is going on. Basically, the second part kind of like deals with this sort of like hamster on the wheel idea in the art world, which it seems like the acceptance of diversity and acceptance of all sorts of theories and practices as art and celebration of all of them equally has created this sort of like end of history, like a Fukuyama's version of end of history for art, in which there's no more anything going on except just like stuff gets produced and everything gets celebrated and accepted to the same level. Or is that same? But of course there's other things going on behind the scene, which is always about how elites are using this mode of indeterminacy to further extend their control over museums and galleries. So that will be the second section. The third one will be mostly about strategies, political, technological, and sort of like scientific, to sort of like get the art outside of this hamster wheel. And that's where we're going to actually get deeper into what can be learned from the Accelerate Manifesto in that respect. But I want you to know that like we're going to be reading the Accelerate Manifesto in the first segment, and we're going to use the sort of, I'm going to pull things out of it, which will be kind of like methodologically significant for what I want to do in all the three segments. So the manifesto is with us, but really it'll come to fruition in terms of actually how we're going to use it in development of shows and stuff in the third one. But we'll use the manifesto in the first and the second to kind of like look at the past and the present of art. So that's sort of like the introduction I wanted to give to the classes, the three classes. Jason, you can ask questions too, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Could you tell us how exactly will you integrate the guests? And you're bringing in Suhail Malik as well, right? Could you tell us maybe a little bit about Suhail and his significance?
Well, each class will be dealing with sort of like one of those four themes that I said, right? So I'm hoping that Tom will talk to us about the sort of like the late 90s post-colonial and feminist turn and tell us more about that aspect. And Suhail will be coming to join us in the last class to sort of like open the debate about the future of the practice. And sort of like basically Suhail will be talking about the very contemporary moment, and sort of like where we're going to end with like Olbert's Do It and Boryard's, what is the show? I just went over the names. I'm terrible with names. We'll go over the first. The first one that he did. That sort of like became the blueprint for relational aesthetics. Traffic. And then the show called Insight, which was a Tijuana, Mexico, California show. I don't know if you remember that one, because those are the shows I picked to deal with for the last segment. So Sohail will be dealing with those, helping us figure those out.
I see. Great. And what is the significance of Suhail? I know you're a big fan of his work. What do you think is the significance of his work for curatorial theory?
Well, first of all, I think Sohail is one of the people that have taken up the call to arms, and is trying to figure out a way. I mean, all of us are. I guess I can even claim that Tom is, right? We're all interested in what is the application of this manifesto, or what is its use in relation to art. And I think Sohail also worked with Tom. I think you guys had some classes together or something in Goldsmith, right, Tom?
Hold on a second. Let me turn Tom's volume back up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Suhail was one of the lecturers at Goldsmiths, and before he left was going to be my supervisor for my PhD, but he left to go to Bard.
So yeah, so the same as Tom and same as Sohail, we're all like in different parts of this spectrum, are trying to work out what is useful about the Accelerationist Manifesto. And Sohail, because of the series of lectures he gave in New York last year called Exit from the Contemporary, I think will be the best person to bring in to look at these shows, these 90s shows that basically form the sort of like the latest strategies of contemporary art exhibitions. I mean, the Do It exhibition is so kind of like model that actually another reiteration of it is happening as we speak in New York. The Independent Curator International is doing it best of Do It or something that's going to open in the space. So it's like the last segment is kind of like very much in close relation to what's happening now, because these names are very much like Boryard is going to be curating the Taipei biannual this year. So basically these people, even though sort of like became known and began their like big time careers in the 90s, they're very much still in charge of the art world, or in charge of the curatorial world. So Sohail will be the best person to kind of like critically look at their work, and more precisely look at the conception of their careers as curators in the 90s. Sorry about this Facebook thing. I'm going to close it.
People are also discussing in the chat. That's why we're here.
Well, it's really annoying that Facebook does not have a volume control, because it doesn't want to give you the option to not listen to it. So basically, the minute you have a Facebook window open, it's just like Facebook's right to alert you with messages you're receiving. It's very annoying.
I think you can turn the sounds off.
No, for sure, but then you're not going to get any other sound, right? So it's like, it would be great to be able to just like turn the Facebook sound down, but you have to turn the whole volume of your machine down, which I'm about to do actually.
It looks like Lori had a question. I'm going to unmute your mic, Lori, if you want to pose that question. Or actually, if you could unmute it yourself, I'm having problems muting it.
Yeah, I just had a question.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just had a question on the class times, if they were from 11 to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time on all the days.
Jason,
yes,
do you want to answer that? I wasn't sure, is it 10 or 11?
Yeah, it'll be 11 to 1:30 on those days.
So it's 11 to 1:30 from Wednesday to Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Easy question.
Do those times work for you, Lori?
Well, as I said before, I have that conflict with the conference on Saturday, but as long as I'm able to make up the day through the video later on, I should be okay.
I'm also I'm also I'm also gonna do probably not probably for sure, but the time I was deciding a class, two separate two separate sessions of office hours for 1 hour each. So like probably Sunday after the Saturday class where people ask questions about the final projects, and then another one negotiable as we agree sometime between Wednesday and Saturday. So those 2 hours will be like I'll be like available for chat with a group. Meanwhile, in between, I will be available like for you to ask questions. I prefer them for all to be public so that we don't form private conversation, but private will be fine too. So like just send me questions on Facebook or on Google Plus, and then we'll start a Google Plus Hangout if we can, uh, just like the Facebook group right now, and then we use it to sort of like ask questions, and those I'll get to them whenever I can within 24 hours of the question being posed. But then I will give you live 2 hour chat. One hour of it will decide throughout the class between Wednesday and Saturday. The other hour of it I'll do Sunday after the day after the class. So then maybe Lori, Sunday you can come in and see, watch the video, and then come to the office hour and then see if you want to ask me. It would be great to do it Sunday.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Great. And then it looked like Eileen had a few comments or ideas as well. Did you want to raise some of those questions, Eileen? Eileen, we can actually hear you if you want to speak, Eileen. I unmuted your mic.
Oh, wow. Okay, hi. I was just experiencing some lag and some crossing over between when different people were speaking. And I was just wondering, was that everybody else or was it just my amazing student internet that I have in Belgium?
That was actually coming from somebody else whose mic was up. So I turned them down, and it should be done now.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
That's it? Please, ask questions.
Have any other questions, Eileen?
Yes, go ahead.
No, thank you very much.
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot. Okay. Maybe let's see. Jacob Regan is here. Would you like to pose a question, Jacob?
Well, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
It's related to a post that you did on Facebook about what is for.
I turned your mic up so you can ask a question if you want to, but if you don't want to, that's fine.
What is vanguardist art?
Are you there, Jacob?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't get it. I think Jason's doing something.
Oh.
Yeah, I turned up I turned up the mic, but it might not be working that well.
Now they got a little bit.
Shah, we can hear you loud and clear. Would you like to pose a question? Can you hear us? Okay, I'm going to turn Shah's mic down.
The best is to first let Manuel ask the question.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Manuel.
Okay.
Okay, we're just underwater. It's fine. We're in a submarine, and it's fine.
Okay, it's about what represents for you a vanguardist movement. Like, I think you say that it's something related to that the piece of art have to be connected with a political movement, and the state of affair of the current movement. I'm just interested about that concept.
Well, okay, we're still underwater, and I hope everyone's okay with that. So we're just gonna like forget about the fact that we're underwater and just like deal with it. The post you're talking about, I particularly was interested in. You know, we're gonna be reading one of Albero's texts in one of the classes, and Albero there kind of like defines what is avant-garde modernist art, right? And basically sort of like conceive it as a purely aesthetic thing. And then what I try to do in that post, I was trying to talk about how okay, Jason, one of the mics should be turned down. I don't know which one it is, but
Okay, I'll turn them all down, except for yours for now.
so what I was trying to do in that post was trying to show that prior or something that was happening simultaneous with aesthetic or artistic avant-garde was the idea of political avant-garde, which was forwarded by Lenin. And actually, in fact, one of the exhibitions we're going to be looking at, which is the constructivist exhibition in Moscow, was actually launched at the same time as the second international, the Communist International, was meeting in Moscow. So in a way, the Radchenko and Lizinsky's show was sort of like supposed to be the artistic component of an international communist congress in Moscow. And what I was trying to say was that these two were divorced from each other, and then one was advanced, and then the other one was defeated. The aesthetic avant-garde was sort of like continued on, whereas the political avant-garde with like the normal narrative is to say with the victory of Stalin, sort of like there was a stop put for the political avant-garde, at least in Russia or general communism. And so we're trying to like actually the whole thing about reigniting the engine of determinacy for art is to somehow find its new relation to politics. Sure.
I just have a comment. I think I saw somebody opened up the one of the apps. If you could turn off the apps that the apps that create the mustaches and various things like that. Those apps use up a lot of bandwidth. And sometimes if we have people from all over the world, so so if people are coming in with like lower bandwidth and then we use the app, then what it will do is it'll reduce the quality. But those are fun apps, I have to admit.
We use them before, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, we've used them. We use them. No problem, Eileen. No, actually, I wasn't actually referring to you, Eileen. I was referring to I think Jacob opened one earlier. But that's cool. So we do have a question here from Lori Way. She's asking, which of the posted readings will be covered in our first meetings on Wednesday?
Which one?
Which of the posted readings will be covered in our first meeting on Wednesday?
I would say if you want, like, let me just go back to the list here. The way I'm looking at it is, all the readings I've given to you guys, you can read them all or read them none. But we will be reading them together anyways in the classes. But if you want to start with something, I would start with the Accelerate Manifesto. That will be the most crucial one to read because the methodology set by that one would sort of like inform the rest of not only this segment, but the other segment. So if you want to like jump ahead and start something, I would start with that. called Accelerate Manifesto.
Great.
I think it's there in the group. I'm just going to go make sure that it's there. I'm pretty sure it's there. And then I can also do a remind post. Oh, also, if everybody agrees, this is also a very good piece to read. It's the Greenberg piece, Avant-Garde and Kitsch. So if you can read those two, the rest will like slowly come in.
Mohammed said that you told me before, Mohammed, you're probably gonna post the syllabus with the reading schedule within a short amount of time.
Yeah, I'm actually just finalizing that before coming online. I was just finalizing that, and it'll be posted tonight, and then you guys can sort of like have time till Wednesday, and then ask me if you have any questions between now and Wednesday. Feel free to contact me.
Great. I think I saw another question up here. Hi, Shah.
Hello.
You see your hello. Jacob Regan asked the question. I hope I'm saying that right. Maybe it's Reagan. What is the Global Center for Advanced Studies all about?
Oh, that you should answer that.
I had a feeling you'd say that. So the Global Center for Advanced Studies, I'll turn on my camera here a minute. Sorry, I was eating an apple. The Global Center for Advanced Studies, we started offering our first courses in December. Basically what we are is at first when we came up with the name, the Global Center, people were saying, are you kidding? That's really grandiose, that kind of title. I mean, that's not gonna, that's not a good title. But actually, it's actually turned out really good that we did use that title, I think, because it's forced us to try to live up to it as much as possible. Of course, you can never fully live up to the term global, really. But we are really trying to do that, and in any given course, we have students. We often have faculty as well, but for sure we have students from all over the world. And kind of the idea of GCAS is that we're trying to create an alternative to to the already existing higher education institutions. An alternative, but we're also trying to work with them because what we see is a decline in the willingness to fund any program that deals with, say, critical theory or cultural theory, cultural studies, the arts, the humanities, and things like that. So we're trying to create an institution that would really kind of bolster these subject areas and enhance their capacities, regardless of the fact that neoliberalism is causing cutbacks in basically every field related to those areas. And we brought together, in order to do this, we basically brought together some of the top thinkers in the world, and senior figures, but we're also working with more emerging figures and mid-level figures and that sort of thing as well. So, I could read for you. If you want to find we do have a mission statement. We have here's what our mission statement is. It is our quest to create a transformative institution of higher education unlike anything the world has yet seen. In doing this, we want to create a community of scholars, farmers, workers, and students who can add to this conversation, a conversation that is itself an act in the belief of the humanities, political economy, philosophy, literature, art, science, architecture, and poetry. We need each other to do this, believing that banks and corporate interests should not continue to dictate the terms on which education is determined. We want to create an education that is inclusive, democratic, and committed to justice for the oppressed. So that's our basic mission statement. And the banks part of it, I guess our idea is that we want to we want to offer tuition at a very low amount, and basically what we do is we give half of all tuition dollars to the faculty member. You may not be aware of this, but in most in most institutions, the faculty member gets anywhere from 2 to maybe 8% of all tuition dollars that come in. The vast majority of that money just goes back into the institution, and more often than not, it goes to fund extremely expensive, extremely bloated administrations with the top figures making millions of dollars in many cases. So we're trying to reverse that. We're trying to create a professor-run school, a student-run school, and one that is committed to social justice, that's committed to the importance of critical theory and critical thinking, and so that's basically what we're doing.
We should edit this part of the video and just host it separately, because you did such a good job.
Thank you. Eileen Ibrahim asks, what are the opportunities to get grants, to get, what are the opportunities to get scholarships or grants to attend GCAS? Well, we do have some scholarships, but primarily the scholarships or grants that you would get would probably come from outside, and we're working on that presently. What we do have is what we do have more immediately, because the issue is we're just getting started right now, so we don't necessarily have all of that completely in place. We do have a bit of that, but what we do have is, okay, you're Canadian. Eileen says that she's Canadian, so we do have the possibility, not to brag or anything. We do have what's called student fellowships, and these student fellowships are what I can do is send you the link. Yeah, okay, you saw it on the website. And the student fellowships would basically offer you reduced price, or they would, do things like that. But we would have to, first you would have to apply for it and then be accepted. And yes, as a student fellow, you could help TA a class. Possibly, maybe you could help TA this class. I don't know. You could talk to Mohammed afterwards if you want, and see whether that's possible. Okay, Jacob Regan asked a question saying, is GCAS an accredited educational institution? What we are, if you go and look on our website, we answer that question. And the word accreditation is, it depends what you mean by are we accredited. I would direct you to globaladvancedstudies.org, then click on About, then click on the GCAS FAQ. And what we are is we're the very first thing we say at the top there. What is GCAS? We say the Global Center for Advanced Studies is a nonprofit higher education institution that is licensed by the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs of the State of Michigan, USA, since December 5th, 2013, as a licensed proprietary school. As a new higher education institution founded in August 2013, the Global Center for Advanced Studies is not presently accredited as a degree-granting institution by Title IV recognized regional or accrediting bodies. We are, however, seeking this level of accreditation over the next 2 to 3 years. In the meanwhile, though, we are, as I said, we are licensed by the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs of the State of Michigan, and we're not just licensed, the way that any organization or institution would be licensed. We're licensed specifically as a school, as a licensed proprietary school. So. And this designation is often given to institutes, to centers like the Global Center, while they're in the process of working towards full accreditation, because it's only with full accreditation that you can get financial aid, student loans, and things like that. But we do have other options, and we are licensed to provide courses. Yes. All right. So should I turn on some of your microphones again? and maybe you want to ask Mohammed a few more questions.
I'm happy to answer whatever.
Okay.
We have about 15 more minutes, right?
More minutes. Shah Khan asks, here to tell about more programs except higher education. Shah, if you don't mind, I'd like to turn on your microphone or turn up your volume, and if you could explain your question in a little more detail, please. I'm turning you up now.
I'm here.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. I was just asking that you are here for higher education, except all. Tell me about all those programs uh, beyond like language programs and etc.
Yeah, I can answer your question, but first, can you tell us where you're coming from today?
Yeah, today first.
Where are you
Hello,
joining us from today?
I am joining today in this program. Not much known about, but interesting some other things like language programs.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to talk to me, I can. I'm just going to turn down your volume now. Just a minute here. But if you want to talk to me about the various programs we have, we can talk about that later. But basically, what we have is we do have language courses actually, and soon we'll have a variety of language courses, and we have an institute. We have an Institute for Global Studies, Institute for Political Economy, Institute for Critical Theory, and a variety of other areas. So we have critical philosophy, critical theology, and the arts, of course. So, all right. Well, any other questions? Did you have any? Let's see, Sonia, did you have any questions or no? Oh, Mazabin has just joined us. Cool. Do you have any questions, Mazabin?
I just saw her question.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so I just saw your question posted on the group, and
Yeah.
I wish you joined us earlier because I kind of answered it all. So I don't know if it's the best thing to do just to like watch the video. But
Sorry, Salami, I cannot hear you because yeah, actually too many people are talking, so I'm sorry.
Mohammed, could you just maybe restate the question?
she's unable to hear my answer, so I don't know what's the best way to sort of address her question and make sure she hears it. Why don't I respond to it in text after the session's over?
Sorry,
Yeah,
Salami.
sounds good.
I can hear Jason. I can hear several people are talking, so sorry.
No, it's okay, Mazabin. It's fine.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he'll just
Hi,
respond to that
Salami.
one in
Yeah, I
text
can
later.
hear you now.
If that's
Hello. Yes.
okay, great. Yeah, so I think Mohammed is just going to respond to that question later, if that's okay.
Right after the session, I will type up the answer. And recommend her to watch the early part of the video because I kind of explain exactly what we're going to be doing.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Mazabin. We appreciate it. Also, Shah answered the question that we asked before. He is coming into the Hangout from Pakistan. So that's great. We're really kind of living up to our name today.
This is going to be global.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, guys, I just want you to know the chaos of right now will not be happening during the class because it's not going to be so like crazy because I'll be doing a lecture and then we'll be doing much more sort of like controlled version of turning the mics on and off. So this underwaterness and the chaos, we'll do our best to not let this happen. Right, Jason? I mean, there are classes that are like 50 or 60 people join classes, and we've got experience doing this. It's just like today it seems like Jason's trying to get as many people talk and listen at the same time, and because of like some of these links coming from people with really low speed internet, it's kind of like interrupting the flow of the class. Normal classes are not sort of like held this way. They're much better. I've been to several GCAS classes, and my class certainly won't be chaotic like this.
Yeah. I apologize for that. The only reason for that is that there were lots of people, as Mohammed was saying, coming in from all over the world, and very different bandwidth speeds, and that sometimes can cause the feedback to occur. But yeah, we're really looking forward to the class. And
what I also want to talk about
any other comments?
Well, you know what, I want to talk about something, which is most curatorial programs, right? Most curatorial programs in the world, I would say almost all of them, they don't really deal with the sort of like the geometric task, what it means to organize objects or concepts in physical space, because they consider this part too technical and something that you would learn on your own. But as someone who's very much interested in the concept of, or the overlap of the concept of geometry and philosophy, we'll be spending a good amount of time sort of like understanding curatorial from the standpoint of organization of material and ideas in a three-dimensional space. So we'll end up learning a lot of technical stuff as well, stuff that most programs normally don't cover. I'm actually very excited about linking these practical and technical aspects to the sort of philosophy and epistemologies that I'm interested in. So it'll be like a 2-for-1 thing. Basically, we were dealing a little bit with what people call the geometric turn, which kind of forms a bit of the accelerated manifesto here and there, and then how it relates to the curatorial practice, both at a technical level, it's how to hang stuff on the wall, and how to make sure it looks good, but also how you sort of like prop up the space to sort of like deal with ideas. I don't know if what I said is helpful at all. If it's not, ask me questions and I can explain what I mean.
Okay, you're on.
Hello? I just had a question in regards to the 3 classes. If we complete all 3 classes, are we issued a certificate for that?
Yes, you will get a certificate for class.
Okay, thank you.
I will be I will be giving you a very comprehensive course material with all the appropriate PDFs in it, and then additional links and resources online that you can read and research. So I would say what I'm doing is I'm creating a folder for all the PDF files that I've gathered about these exhibitions, and then the syllabus will itself have the name of all the exhibitions and all the appropriate links included. So once you receive the syllabus, you can begin reading about them, and then once you get access to the Google Doc folder that has all the PDFs course material in it, you can basically read what I have there for you to sort of like learn more about these exhibitions. Welcome.
All right. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of this hangout. So, did you have any final things you want to say, Mohammed?
Well, I'll just say that please join the Facebook group and keep asking questions, and I'm happy to answer them as soon as I see them. So let's keep the conversation about the class going, because people might, like what we talk about might even trigger more questions. So yeah, so I'll be available, and I'm a social media junkie. I'm always online. I always answer your question. That's all I
Great.
that's all I can.
Wonderful.
Manuel, I can't wait to see you in Cancun. Bye.
All right. See y'all later.